fiber prep. What I wanted to talk to you about was dizzing your fiber, whether it's a braid or it's a bat or little fiber knots. You can take those fibers and prep them so they're easier to work with. Here I have one, and it comes in this little roll that you can unroll, and you can see that the fiber is floofy, but it's fairly dense. There's a lot of fiber in this little area, so if we were to take this and run it through one of the holes in this Diz, it would draft out the fibers and make them easier to work with. I have to beg your grace during this video. This is being filmed during the COVID-19 quarantine, so any background noises that you might hear, I'm home with my kids and my husband. We're all in the same house. There is no time that doesn't have people awake and making noise, so I apologize for any background distractions. Let's go jump into dizzing some fiber. Okay, so I've got a couple of different dizzes here that I can show you guys. This one is actually a wraps per inch measuring tool for weaving from shacked, but it also has 2 diz holes, so I generally use the larger one when I'm using this one. And you would put the fiber in the dented side and then pull through the flat side. This is a necklace charm that I took a drill to and some water and drilled 3 different size holes in it, and for this one I generally use the middle one. If you don't have anything, you can use the holes of a spice cap, that's totally cool, or a button. This is the one that I use the most, and I got this from Hip Strings. It's just clear acrylic and it has 3 holes drilled in it, a small, medium, and large, and I generally use the small and the medium ones. And this was really nice because it came with a threader, so you just put it through and grab your fiber and then pull it through and it threads for you, which is really awesome. So I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to diz this particular fiber. This is a sticklebat from Inglenook Fibers, and you can diz any fiber, particularly bats and rovings. You can do comb tops as well. So I'm going to put my threader through here, put my fiber through the threader, and pull it through. And I haven't done anything to this, like I just unwrapped this now, so I'm going to show you how I do this. This is not the only way, it's just how I do it. But I pull away from the fiber and then slide the diz towards the fiber. Similar to pre-drafting, if you've ever pre-drafted anything, this is the same basic principle. You just pinch right where the diz stops and pull and then let it slide down. If you're having a hard time getting your fiber to want to draft, move your hand farther down your fiber supply. It's possible that you are staple locking yourself. So like if I was to move my hand all the way up here and hang on, like it would be really hard, and you can actually hear the fibers tearing by doing it that way. But if you move it farther out, it glides just nicely. It does take some practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy to do. Just be aware of how hard you're pulling, because if your fiber wants to give all of a sudden, you'll break your roving that you're creating. And while that's not a big deal, you can just join it all back together when you're spinning it. It makes it nice to keep it all into one long piece. And you can see that I'm not like forcing the Diz to go very far. I really only push it up as far as I've drafted. So when I draft, you can see that the fiber's coming out right there. So then when I push it up, it goes to that spot, and that's where I draft again. Super simple, super easy. It's easier on your hands when you're spinning. If you have arthritis or any other sort of sprains or strains or anything like that, spinning from dizzed fiber makes the whole spinning process and drafting process easier on your hands. So it's really nice to spin from dizzed fiber. These stickle bats are generally a half an ounce of fiber. See, broke, or almost broke. We're just going to jump the gap and keep on. This part will be thin, but that just means you're not going to draft as much there. So you can see that if this is a half an ounce of fiber, it wouldn't take very long to get through an entire 4-ounce braid of fiber. Or a full bat, if you have like a 4-ounce bat, it wouldn't take very long to get there. It's a little tricky down here at the end because you can't really move your hand for your staple links too much anymore. So I generally find myself drafting backwards with my other hand a little bit and sort of going over some thicker spots. So like right here, this could probably go through the Diz, but I don't really want it to, so I'm going to draft away from the Diz with my fiber holding hand to get it to thin out a little bit. And then here you can see the whole thing just nicely goes right through. That's it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. And now, where it was very, very thick before, it's nice and airy, and you can see my hand through it, and it'll be a pure joy to spin. Okay, so here I have another thing of fiber, my Diz and my threader, and I wanted to give you guys a close-up view of what I was doing. I am going around the camera, so it is going to be a little bit awkward, but I'll do my best. You can see I'm keeping my hands pretty far apart. And where it's thinning out is where I push the Diz up to. If you start only pulling from one side of your fiber supply, push your Diz a little bit farther up and try to angle it so you get the side that you're not getting, so you can do the whole thing in one go. So here's a great example of trying to manage the fiber when it's not behaving. This little piece wants to fly away. So if you back the Diz up a little bit and shove it in there with everything, you can kind of manage how the Diz grabs onto the fiber and then draft it. And now you're drafting this piece that didn't want to hang out with its friends together with everything else. Almost done. And here we are at the end again where it's going to start getting hard to draft. So we're going to hold here with your pinching hand and pull back with your fiber hand to be able to draft a little bit easier. And then this is just going to go straight through the Diz. And there we go. There's another ½ ounce already dizzed that quick. Not too hard, right? So all you need to do is grab something that has a decently sized circle in it, whether it's a Diz that you purchased from somebody. Like I said, this is from Hip Strings. Whether you take a drill and a seashell and drill a hole in it, just use some water when you're drilling. Or you can use the top of a spice container or a button even. So find something with a hole in it, grab a braid, grab a bat, go ahead and Diz some fiber and see what you think about spinning Dizzed fiber. One word of caution though, you can Diz pretty much any fiber. The only fiber I wouldn't recommend Dizzing is a roll lag. Roll lags look like this, little cinnamon rolls. Those are better for you to pre-draft by hand. So just pull them a little bit until you, instead of having a little cinnamon roll, you have a gigantic long snake, and that will make that incredibly easy to spin as well. But bats, stickle bats like the sisters at Inglenook Fibers do, braids, anything like that, you can Diz and it will be beautiful. You can Diz straight off your drum carder, you can Diz straight off of a hackle. Any of those things make glorious fiber to spin with. So get your Diz, find something to Diz, and get practicing. I will see you guys next time. Bye.